Welcome back, my friends, to another fun time with your favorite prophet, Methuselah. I hope you're ready to enjoy some scripture, some topics, some discussion, and remember to provide constructive criticism in the comments. I always like to better myself, and I always love to hear the truth. If you can't handle the truth, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to look at your face if you can't handle the truth. I would rather stub my toe on a concrete wall than listen to someone that can't handle the truth. So if you can't handle the truth, get out of here. Deuces. Skirt. Beep. Backing up. Beep. Beep. Yep, get out of here. Yep. Because I'm backing up and out your life if you can't handle the truth. Or if you can't tell the truth. I can't stand people who lie all the time either. Ugh. Pet peeve. That's not the discussion though. So this no, but for real. The topic of discussion today is you are who you hang with. Yep. If you're hanging with those rotten fruit, you will become rotten, my friend. It happened to me. So I want you to think right now. Who are some negative influences in your life? Yep. Who is it that you don't feel comfortable around? Yep. Why do you still hang around those people? Yep. Think about that. Why do you still hang out with the people that you don't feel comfortable around or don't feel comfortable around you? But you can provide for them, you can help them. That's why they want to be around you. But what are they doing for you? Yeah, think about that one. Do you have people in your life that are negative influences that are peer pressuring you to do things you don't want to do, that smile in your face and gossip about you behind your back? You have people you've never even met telling you their stories the first time you met them. Like, who the who the heck is this? Like, what the? How'd you know that? Stay around people who gossip about you and who peer pressure you and who don't allow you to be your authentic self. All right. If they can't handle that, then they're not meant to be in your life. All right. Cool. So I have some scripture picked out today, and I'm a little more prepared. So today the scripture is coming from Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Ooh, I will repeat that. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Short and sweet. Yeah, you are who you hang with, right? So I'm going to take this back to when I was about 12 years old. There were some neighbors that finally moved in across the street, and there was a basketball court across the street. My buddy, who lived across the street already, was the one with the basketball court. And we were playing, and I asked him, "Who are those guys? They just moved in. They're our age." I was all excited, like, I was used to playing video games by myself and eating lots of food and not being healthy, getting picked on by my brother and his friends, all that. Anyway, but I'm a beast. I'm a beast now. I'm shining. So I was like, "Who are these guys moved in across the street?" But I was excited, and yeah. Ah, I'm gonna. I rewatched my first two videos. I say like so much, and it bothers the living crap out of me. So if I start going on a like spree, I was like, they were like, likety, like. comment stop or you're doing it again. Yeah, help me out. I'm new to this. I'm trying to get better. Anywho, back to the story. I asked my buddy, who are those guys? And he said, delinquents. That's all he said. Delinquents. And I looked at him like, hmm. Oh, I said like again. Dang it. Oh well. I'm still going. I'm pushing it. I'm pushing through it. Bear with me. We're in this together. You clicked on the video. You're still watching. You're with me. All right. So yeah, he said delinquents. And I looked over there. I was like, all right. We'll see. And they lived directly across the street from me. So and they were the same age as me. One was 1 year older than me, and the other one was 1 year younger than me. And they had an older brother that was the same age as my buddy that had the basketball court. So we were all very close in age, and they had, they literally had, so their house was a normal house, and then in their backyard, there was almost, it looked like a clubhouse. It was the size a little bigger than a studio apartment. It was really cool. But the supervision was slim to none. Yeah. No supervision. So you have 12 to 17-year olds all hanging out in this what we called it the little house. It was the little house. Oh, we meeting at the little house. Oh, you trying to go to the little house? And my friends, that's where a lot of negativity. That's where I became a rotten fruit. Okay. I'm way past that now. We'll get to that at the end. How I overcame all this and God is now the center of my life and I'm filled with peace and joy and harmony and giving back to the community, all those great things. But right now I'm going to talk about hanging we are who we hang with, right? Did anyone else have an experience like that where they were around people with no supervision at a young age and got away with anything they wanted to? Yeah. All right. So anyway, these guys, they were they were addicted to stealing from stores, from people, from cars, always up to mischief, messing with neighbors' houses, stealing out of their garages, um, peer pressuring people to throw rocks through people's windows, shooting airsoft guns at people driving down the road, just all sorts of mischief, right? Um, I'm going to focus on the stealing part though. That so I grew up in a Christian household, so I was forced to go to church every Sunday. Um, my parents were very supportive. Yep, yep. They they were very supportive. They worked a lot. They weren't around much, so I was watched mainly by my brother and sister. We're not getting into that though. So I'm hanging out with these guys, and every time we go to the store, they walk out with their pockets bulging. Um, and I would just laugh, and they would give me stuff too. Like, oh, you got this, and then like they would even steal stuff and sell it at school, um, all types of stuff. And it got to a point where I was around them so much that I started to steal just to fit in, because we would leave like, oh, you didn't steal anything, you're not getting none of this. I'm not sharing with you. Like you're a scaredy cat, you're a wuss, you're lame. But it was probably more vulgar, more cuss words and stuff like that. But so it got to the point where I was stealing every time we went to the store. And even if they noticed like a car was, oh, I said like again. See, I caught myself. I hope you're catching me too. But it got to the point where even if we walked past a car that was unlocked, they would rummage through it, steal whatever they could out of it, cigarette butts, money, change, iPods, shoes, anything of the value could be this much, and we would still take it because I can't just blame them. I was doing it too. You are who you hang with. Rotten fruit turns to rotten fruit. Have you ever seen that thing where somebody has a bowl of fruit and one gets rotten that's right in the middle, and then slowly but surely it spreads and everything is rotten within days because of that one rotten fruit? So imagine hanging out with two rotten fruits that are brothers, and they turn me and all my friends rotten. Ugh. So anyway, so it got to the point where I was even stealing without them. So I would start doing it to my friends. Like I said, but I would start doing it with the friends I hung out with before them. Like, say it like it. See, help me, please. Stop saying that. Lord, take the like out of my vocabulary. Okay. So I was starting to steal with my friends. We would go to the store. I would steal, la da da da, da, and then eventually they would start stealing. Like it spread like wow. And and then I got caught, and it, they weren't even with me. So my parents couldn't even, still had no clue that the people that lived across the street were this bad influence. So they were completely safe. My parents had no idea that it was them that got me hooked on stealing. Well, if they were smart, they would have known. They ended up stealing a lot from our house. We'll get to that. Um, so I get caught. We were at some card place and I got caught stealing a couple expensive packs of cards. So my mom was called. Um, she came. Because she came, I didn't have to leave. Well, actually, no, I had to wait there. A cop came and then took me to get fingerprinted, and she had to pick me up from there. So I learned my lesson, and then it dawned on me like, I really don't want to hang out with these guys no more. But they live right across the street. So what am I supposed to do? They're not gonna. And at this point, we already hung out for like a year, so I couldn't avoid them. And I'm not gonna. They were intimidating. They were bullies. They, if you weren't with them, you were against them. And I didn't want to get jumped or bullied, and I wanted to be able to play basketball across the street comfortably. So I kept them around. I still hung out with them, even though I knew not to. Even though I knew they were horrible influences. So I kept hanging out with them. And it got worse. We started smoking. We started drinking. It was so bad that we were walking up to the stores and getting cigarette butts at like 13 years old. Uh, and then we would scrummage bottles up to get packs and split them all. And then the other neighbor would take advantage of us and make us do dumb things for cigarettes, very embarrassing things. And then we would all shame each other. And then, it was the most negative friend group of my life. Anyway, so they would always peer pressure, and I would be around them nonstop. And then one day, I just knew not to get out of bed. I was like, nope. They were knocking on my bed. They're like, oh, uh, we broke into this house and got $30 worth of bottles. Come out. And I was like, nope, I am not hanging out with y'all. Y'all are up to no good. I'm not being around y'all today. And I stayed in bed, just laying there like, oh, I'm not messing with them today. I don't care what they have going on. I don't care how much weed they got. I don't care. I'm not going. And literally 2 hours later, a cop comes knocking on our door. Luckily, I was inside all day, and my parents could vouch for that. Everyone in the house could vouch for that. So I was completely clear. Come to find out, while one of them stole the bottles out of the house, the other one stole a gun and then went and hid it in the woods. And they all started telling on each other and snitching on each other. And then the one who did it actually went to the woods, grabbed it, and he got a felony for it. Um, wild stuff, wild stuff. But God protected me that day. Something I knew not to go outside that day, or I would have been right there with him in that house and probably ended up with a felony. So God saved me at a young age. And then these same kids, so it got to a point to where they would be around us so much they would know, like I said, like again, they would know my parents' schedule and my brother's schedule. My older brother's 5, 6 years older. They knew our schedule. They knew when. So one of them would keep me entertained. We would go walk. There's like a park a mile away. We'd walk there, hang out with the riffraff down there, look for weed and whatnot, try to find girls to hang out with, all this, that, and other. So one, they would take turns. One would hang out with me. The other one would literally go rob our house blind. Um, they stole from my parents. They stole stacks of $2 bills. They stole a silver block. They stole all of our old video game consoles. They stole anything like I was saying earlier, anything out of cars that's worth any amount of value, they were taken. And and it never really dawned on us because we always had, we weren't poor. We were middle class. We always had what we needed. But every time we went to go look for something like of our child, I said like again. I hope you're commenting every time I say like. I hope you're telling me because I am getting upset. But anyway, so every time we would go look for something from our childhood or something we haven't seen in a while, we couldn't find it. It was nowhere to be found. Our Atari, our old Nintendos, our games, our PlayStation 1. um, and my brother, he was partaking some things and they were stealing from him, like money and things like that. So, so yeah. And then I ended up getting blamed for stealing all this stuff. And then it wasn't till one of them actually got caught while we were there, and he stole a 20 out of my dad's wallet. And my dad purposely put his wallet out with like exactly an exact amount of money, and and he basically set a trap, and they fell for it. And when we were getting ready to leave, he's like, "Hold up, I know exactly how much money I had. Who has the 20?" And the person who took it confessed, gave the 20 back. And that's when I knew not to hang out with them. And I still, because of how I was scared of them. They had older brothers and cousins that were like in gangs and all types of stuff. So I still didn't want any problems with them. Luckily, they finally moved away. They finally moved at least a couple miles away, and I still hanged out with them a little bit. But then they were very they when it was just us, they would be nice to me. But if anybody came around, I was the butt of the joke. I had to make a fool of myself to even fit in, and then they would like watch them do this, and then everyone would laugh at me, and like I thought when it was just us, I thought I was being funny. I thought they actually were cool with me, but come to find out, I was the joke. I was their gesture, and that hurt. So ugh, and they would just bully me nonstop, but they were obsessed with me. Like they would I would wake up to them knocking on my window. I would, I couldn't even. I would get off the bus. They'd be waiting in the wood. Like I said, like again. One of them didn't like. I said like again. See, one of them didn't dropped out of school at like 14, and he would wait in the woods for me when I got out of school. It was that bad. Finally, they moved away, and finally, I could be free from them, and I didn't have to deal with them no more. I got to kind of reinvent myself and have my own friends who they never stole from me, but they didn't want me to shine either. They downplayed my abilities. They downplayed my skills. They made me seem worthless. And I had to be the butt of the joke with them too. I always had to be some goofy. Um, I could never really be myself around my friends 100%. They would be intimidated by how authentic and how I tell the truth, whether you like it or not. And but to make them feel better, I would start holding that in and just letting them feel good about this. I would fill their cup instead of filling mine. And never again. All right. So can you relate to any of those stories? Can you relate to that at all? If so, I'm open ears. I actually have some more scripture too. So I'm going to go to Psalms 1:1. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sit in the company of mockers. Let me read that again because that kind of sounded, I was a little, wasn't great. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sit in the company of mockers. Yeah, let that sink in. I'll read it one more time. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sit in the company of mockers. And that is Psalms 1:1. All right? I have another verse. Proverbs 4:14 through 15. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. Of rotten fruit are contagious. You are who you hang with. All right? All right, I have another one. One more for today. Corinthians 6:14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Right? Let me read that one more time. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? I know I am cooking. I'm cooking. Okay, one more verse, just because I picked it out anyway. Proverbs 22 Proverbs 22, 24, and 25. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared. Ensnared? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll read that one more time. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and not be. Goodness gracious. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared, 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 ensnared. Yeah. And that was Proverbs 22, 24 through 25. Okay? If you have any verses you would like to share that regards you are who you hang with, or who to avoid, who to be around, please drop them in the comments. I would like to read up on it. Right? Appreciate you. And that last one. So I have an example. Do not be around hot temp. So I'm a golfer. I actually work for a nonprofit that teaches life skills through golf. First Tee, West Michigan. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome program. So I golf quite a bit, and I've golfed with lots of different people, and there's some people that are not fun to golf with. People who yell and cuss and throw their clubs. It's it's so annoying. It takes away from all the fun. You're just in the outdoors enjoying the peace of nature, hitting the ball, being thankful for the times you hit it good, keeping a positive attitude, and then the person you're golfing with is just cussing, breaking their club, complaining the whole time. They're only happy when they're playing good. That's and golf is a very challenging sport, so you are not going to play good for a whole round. You might play good a couple holes and that's it if you're an amateur. Even pro stroke. And when you're golfing with someone it just takes the fun away from it. It's not cool. And then you go and golf with people and that rubs off on you. So now you're doing that a little bit and then you luckily I catch myself and I understand how unfun that is to be around. So I just make it I laugh it off. Like, my next shot's my best shot. You ever seen Rising Impact, that golf anime? Gawain, your next shot's your best shot. My next shot's my best shot. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it says, but that's his attitude. And that's the attitude I like to have in golf. You know, all it takes is one good shot, and you're right there. You know, you can save par, or you can get a birdie off of one good shot. Right, Charles. Right, Charles. Right, Charles. Remember, if you have not done so yet, look into 150 MG. It's an awesome community where you get taught how to make content. You get one on ones with an expert. You have someone that manages your content. You get to learn how to edit. You get to learn how to make professional social media pages. It is awesome. If you pay the fees, you have access to their marketing team that helps push your content. It there's honestly nothing negative about that community. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life. So so fun. The people in it spread love and receive love. And everybody's in there that's in there is real, authentic, true. They will tell you about stuff. If you're putting some trash out, they'll be like, redo that. If it's trash, you'll get told it's trash in a kind way. They're not going to make you feel bad, but they care about your best interests and they want their, the truth hurts. But if you can't handle the truth, then you don't belong there. I hope you enjoyed this topic. Remember, if you've got anything from this topic is you are who you hang with. Rotten fruit spreads. If you're hanging with rotten fruit, you will turn to a rotten fruit, and you will fall from that tree and get ate by a deer or or some sort of animal. You will not flourish. You will not thrive in life if you keep surrounding yourself with rotten people. Look for those who are authentic. Look for those who tell the truth. Think of those people who you can look up to and who can take constructive criticism, who hears out your ideas, who wants you to be successful. Seek those people out. Everybody else got to go. All right? Methuselah out of here. Your favorite prophet, Methuselah. It's been real, y'all. Let me know how I did.